Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are checking out episode 20 of Summertime Rendering, and we're getting closer and closer to the end, which I feel like is just like heightening my whole anxiety on this whole thing, because we ended up with our group separated, where we had Hizuru going up against Haine, who's disguised as Shinpei. There's a whole thing there. I know that she has some backup with Nezuru and Tokiko being with them, but at the same time, it still makes me nervous because it's Haine, so like, you know. And again, not everyone has to make it to the end. We also have some like confusion about where exactly Shide is, because there seems like there's two of him, which is entirely possible because there seems to be like copies of him like throughout the ages of this like half human, half shadow thing. So one of them is with Mio and So, and one of them seems to be with Hizuru, and then we have Shinpei and Shadow Mio figuring out what's going on and trying to figure out where they're going to go to help out. So lots of in my head now of trying to keep track of who's a shadow, who's not a shadow, who's partly a shadow, who's with whom. It's a whole thing, but let's just get into this episode because I know that I'm not going to get any more clarity or less stressed just sitting here waiting. In 3, 2, 1, go. We got some cool, like, supernatural abilities going on with Hizuru and, like, more properly teaming up with her brother. I like the connection to Ushio, though, of, like, having watched and learned is really interesting. I don't want them to. I like Hizuru, like, I like that there's the Team Ponytail and Team Spectacles. I like that she's an author because I also have a background in writing. It just, you know, she's cool. Her brother is also cool. I don't know what kind of pronouns to use. I just kind of switch around because I feel like they is appropriate in that there is like more than one person inhabiting a body, and therefore no one can get mad at me for using it as a using it as a pronoun because it is a plural. But we also had it with like Ushio where I was like, I don't know if she's actually dead or if she's gonna come back in some capacity, but we're also like nearing the end of the series, so people could just die and that would be the end of it. Or people could die and then it would reset. Right? In the case of like Ushio, that means that she's not part of that reset. Whereas Hizuru, I mean, she's died before and then come back in like a new timeline. So but the whole like ledge thing, right? Like how close is he to the reset? The show stresses me out so much. Oh, they seem tired. It's so like there's so much history with Heine and Hizuru though. And there's a difference between knowing and understanding. We are trying to buy time, aren't we? Oh, because of our brother. Oh, that would be so wrenching, though. I can't imagine losing my brother. My brain just kind of stops functioning. I don't think we're here for justice, given the manic laughter. Mm-hmm. That side eye, though. There seems to be a lot of conflict within the shadows, though. They aren't like they're too intelligent to blindly follow. Yeah, that's true. The contexts are empty. So does that mean that this isn't the real one? Because before they were like, oh, there's a body inside. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oof. And I'm like, I don't know if she would do well without like severing that connection. I would trust her. She's scary. Why do they probably want him to go to the cave then? Not anymore. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. A little too ready with that knife. So is he like a new shadow then? Oh, that's strange. Oh, the real one. Maybe? I don't know anymore. My head hurts. For a loop. I mean, he's going to loop because he's living in a timeline where, like, people have died. I love how he has the one eye open and that's how he can see everything. It always was. There's always a time limit. Oh, I mean, he's gonna need some extensive therapy after this. No, that's probably not gonna happen because it's an anime, but like, oof, you cannot be good after going through everything that he is going through, let alone all of the loops. I don't know if that's gonna make her feel better. I bet it's hard for her to like see her shadow self being so vital to the plan and like helping out Shinpei, and then she has to like sit back from it, right? Um, why is Nessie's hat there? Oh, okay, because we're part of the fight. I was like, I was worried that we'd lost one already. Oh no. There's that too, because they can remember the loops, which means that they understand what the other side is going to do. So her like putting her brother in to like separate them means that like she couldn't do that again because they knew that that would happen. You can't loop again. You're too close to the last one. Does it have something to do with Ushio? Hmm. You can't loop right now. Boy, think it through. Boy, think it through. Oh, I mean, the only doctor around is a little bit corrupt. Yeah, you should be afraid of Shide. Ugh. It breaks my heart that even in this last moment, she's like showing so much humanity for Heine. Like the friendship that they had still matters. And like she still understands Heine in a way that other people don't because of it. But you have to write that book. Oh. The fact that she let go of her brother first. Oh my goodness, really? Oh, she saved her brother. I mean, the best way that she could. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting to be so emotionally wrecked by that, but okay. I was just talking about how I liked her, and I was like, well, I guess they can just loop again if she dies. And then the show was like, can they? Can they really? Part of it breaks my heart because she has so much compassion for Heine. I think it's so interesting getting the backstory of her with Heine because it's really bringing humanity to Heine, and I don't understand why build that relationship, right? Like, why befriend Hizuru, and why did it matter so much? Because we saw Heine when Hizuru left the island, and you could see the hurt, and it's still there. You could feel the anger and the hurt behind Heine's words while speaking to Hizuru, because you can see that rage when Heine was like, why did you come back? I need to know why you came back. And the subtext being like, I need it to be me. Heine wants the reason to be because Hizuru came back for them. The whole relationship between them fascinates me, and it just breaks my heart that like even in that moment, even as she's dying, she's thinking about Heine and whether or not Heine is being used or is going to be safe or what this really means, and saying like they're really just a child. They're a child that is lonely and wants to go home and wants a family, and you keep that in mind, like remember that. And I think that it's so heartbreaking. But the brother thing took me out, okay? As someone who has a brother, anything that has to do with like siblings and any of the heart that goes into that, I can't do it. It wrecks me because I have a sibling, and the fact that in her last moments, one, the first person that she let go of was her brother, and two, that she couldn't bring her brother with her, right? Like, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, if she dies, then her brother's going with her, right? Like the shadow of her brother. But she didn't let that happen. She has already figured out how to like transfer him to other people, right? Other people who are connected, like partly shadow, partly human. And Shinpei is partly shadow, partly human now because he has Heine's eye, and it's allowing him to have this ability. So now he has this like super amazing fighter in him now, which I think is a good asset. But we're getting more and more unhinged, I think, with Shinpei, because he's like losing grasp of reality, because he's like, oh, I could just loop, like I'll just loop right away. And we're like, oh, you can't loop right away. We've got the event horizon to think about. We have this cliff that you are literally almost dangling off the edge of. You can't just loop again right away. So having someone there to not only protect him, but like be a second voice to be like, hang on, let's think about this, I think is important. And he has like, Mio is like an outside force for that, but having something that's a little bit more personal with him may help him kind of stay grounded a little bit. But maybe not. Maybe like having another voice, another personality in your head probably isn't the best way to have a good grasp on your reality. But you know, like maybe we'll figure it out. We'll come up with something. But I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click Let's Playlist to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you miss next time I post a summertime rendering reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!